going on, everyone? Just getting everything set up before we get live. YouTube and Facebook Live now. Let's sorry everyone, hope you're doing good. Thank you guys for being here. About to hit up live. Pretty big news today, right guys? Hopefully everyone can hear me. We just did a test a little while ago. Just about to set it up on Instagram and then we'll be ready to go, you guys. I look forward to hearing from you guys, what you guys think about this deal and so much more. So, and who knows if we'll have any special guests. I did reach out to people, but someone seemed confused by it, so they won't be coming. Much better today, right guys? Don't think I can see the YouTube comments yet, but regardless, we're building our audience. So let's do it. Just want to make sure you guys have a great view and are able to participate. That's what it's all about. Right? On Instagram, they got a view of the championship belt before I went on, so that's absolutely hilarious. About to get started, you guys. Yes, thank you, Cody, for that. Share your stream, especially on groups that won't post me for some reason. Whatever. I see how it is. How's it going, everyone? God, why does it look not as clear on Instagram, but better on YouTube and Facebook this time? About to be going live. I want your guys' participation on what's going on with Sirius and anything else that you guys want to talk about. That's what we're here for, just like we were back in the day. Often imitated, never duplicated. All right. So, yep. I appreciate you guys so much. It seems like the video is going good on all formats. Wish I could bring up the comments a little bit more on Facebook. But we'll work on that. Comments don't stay up too long. All right. What's going on, everyone? Now I'm going to start recording live. I know with Instagram we'll have to reset. We'll give you a countdown to come back in. Facebook Live. Thank you guys. YouTube. Thank you guys so much. And Instagram. And damn, I just realized I didn't do my eyebrows. Whatever. All right, guys. Someone's laughing at that, I'm sure. Here we go. I'm going to start recording live. I'll be silent for 10 seconds. Don't think the screen is freezing. I'm just doing it so we'll get rid of the air conditioning noise for the playback. So, some of you are like in Instagram and Facebook Live at the same time. Wow, that's dedication right there. All right, here we go, guys. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Dr. Funk podcast live version. For everyone that's listening after this airs, thank you guys so much for subscribing on iTunes, on Stitcher, Podbay FM, wherever we're at. Appreciate you guys so much. Right now, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Insta. live on Facebook Live as well. I think my sound is good, so I'm going to take out the headphones because I hate hearing the sound of my own voice, although other people say they like it. How is everyone doing this week with everything going on? At least we've had some good news today with the Sirius satellite radio deal for Prince. That is 1 month. We're going to get into that. Try not to drink my drinks on camera because they're not paying me. Hope everyone is doing well. And we're going to get into this. I want your guys' feedback on this. So it was announced today that SiriusXM Radio, along with having radio stations for David Bowie and others, they're going to have a station for Prince, albeit it'll be for a month. And we don't need to talk about any cakes. That was last week, and I try to avoid that as well. So, yes, P will have a radio station on SiriusXM Radio, and he's been trying to have that for a very, very, very long time, since 2005, 2006, and as well in 2013 when I first started doing the SiriusCast, he reached out to me to get it on Sirius Radio, and we were in discussions for that. We're going to discuss that and so much more of what's going to happen. I did reach out to DJ Rashida. I'm hoping to get an interview with her at some time later about this. I have heard the special that is going to air, one of the things that's going to air on Sirius, and we'll delve into that and so much more. So, be on station number 30. It's other people that spill the tea. I've retired from that for a little bit, but who knows? I have so much I could say, but I won't go there. But this is the things that we're getting into, is finally Prince getting his own radio station on Sirius, albeit it'll be for a month, but let's hope, since June would be his birthday month, and he doesn't celebrate birthdays, and as he said before in an LA show, oh, you guys celebrate my birthday? Good, you can age for the both of us. So we'll get in with that. Yeah, I remember those things because Prince would delve into trying to do radio stuff, whether it was in 1995, as Ya is pointing out, for the BBC radio tryout is Tora Tora, but that was temporary. He did try to do other radio specials, NPG Radio in 1989, where he slowed down his voice. It was pressed on vinyl, and he hosted that with Levi Caesar Jr., Ingrid Chavez, and Robin Power. So it isn't the first thing, but hopefully stuff like that that's in the Paisley archives will get put out. Yes, NPG Radio, and also with the NPG Music Club. How can we forget about that? And the brilliance of the people that were behind that, along with Prince and Sam Jennings. Those MPG audio shows were absolutely amazing, and I would love to see that on the Sirius show. I'm sure you guys would as well. And again, it all starts on May 1st on Sirius Radio, channel number 30. So you hope they play the deep cuts. Yes, and they did have one after his passing for a couple of months. We're going to get into that, but with the press release and the article today, that was mostly with Vanity Fair, where Rashida gave in some notes of a radio show that she did in 2005, 2006. I truly believe it's more 2006 when it was created than 2005. That's coming from my knowledge of it. Rashida may know more, but other people that were in the mix at that time, they kind of advised me as well of that. So with the article today on Vanity Fair, in the mid-2000s, Prince rented a house in LA from the NBA player Carlos Boozer. That was the second 3121 house that was rented. That wasn't the Barbie Benton house that we now know that it was her. So, and we'll get into that with 3121 demo stuff. I don't think so, aside from what was put on that radio show, but ask me that question again because I did hear some stuff, but we'll see if that makes it onto it. So the Boozer house was the main 3121 house that was out when the 3121 album came out. By the point he had achieved his fusion of pop music and culture and emerged with a possibly even rare status a living folk hero. He was busy throwing parties too, and at the house he called 3121, also the title of the album he released in 2006, a DJ he'd heard in town handled the music. Now, for a lot of us that would know, we would frequent the little temple bar in Santa Monica. There was two of them. There was one in Silver Lake, and there was this main one that was there. We'd see acts there. We'd see Nika Costa, and Rashida would be spinning. And of course, one time Nika Costa was performing, and Rashida was spinning. And then, as someone who's in this room can attest, Prince would always end up right over my frickin' shoulder, like I was his bodyguard. And I was told it was because he kind of, he know that I wouldn't let anything happen to him. Don't say that he knew who he was, but he did see my face and stuff. At that Nika show, it was just crazy because this is 3121 era, and who shows up but Wendy and Susanna. And I heard from Wendy, not directly, that they were going to be heading to the studio that night to do some stuff. I don't know if that stuff ended up on Planet Earth, but I do know that there were things recorded with Wendy and Lisa that are on Planet Earth, whether it's credited or uncredited. You can try watching on Facebook Live or YouTube if it's too much through Insta. I'm sorry about the blurriness more on Instagram today than usual. Not sure of that. Maybe it's the bushy eyebrows. I need my person. In 2005, Prince and SiriusXM, Sirius Satellite Radio at the time, had talked about starting an artist-designed show that could play unreleased and live recordings, interviews, and music he'd been listening to. I really wanted Prince to turn his full creative genius into a curated radio experience. SiriusXM President and Chief Content Officer Scott Greenstein wrote in an email. So he's been trying to do this before. He also had me reach out in 2013 and other things that were going on. So we're going to get into that. And the channel didn't pan out in the end. In 2005, 2006, 2013, and then there has been discussion since the estate has been involved. But I'm at liberty to discuss that, but I won't. So the channel didn't pan out, as we know. Rashida had to listen to the initial episode herself since just after its creation. But the demo tapes, Greenstein said, has sat in his desk drawer ever since. The coronavirus pandemic prompted him to figure out a setting to release the recordings, and on Friday, SiriusXM is launching a month-long Prince channel on the model of its existing artist-devoted stations. The Grateful Dead and the Beatles are permanent examples. As we're reiterating, as much as Prince deserves this, it's for a limited time, for a month. So the 3121 radio demo will publicly play for the first time during the channel's run. As I advised earlier, I was able to hear that, but I want to go through what Rashida said at first to kind of get into this, and I want your guys' input on these things. So we're going to get into it. With the radio show, Rashida plays host, and Prince is mostly heard through the music, though he does appear on the microphone too. The surface purpose of the show was to promote the album 3121, but 15 years on, it is also a sly and vibrant slice of Prince's life and personality at the time, and a sampling of the music he and Rashida have been listening to. Parliament, David Bowie, Aaliyah, Marvin Gaye, just to start. And then Rashida would say, it's a mix of things I was playing at the parties at the time and music he introduced me to. It's such a trip listening to Back to It just now. She picked up Bjork, he, the mother's finest. It was a mix of my stuff and his stuff, Rashida said, really our stuff. So conjoined effort. Now, part of the variety on display has to do with the length of these parties. Many of them, were so long that I had to spread out, Rashida said. In the beginning, for the dinner before the party, I would get to play Ahmad Jamal and jazz record samples to Joni Mitchell. And she hit upon a memory at the mention of Mitchell. At the end of the night, the sun is coming up. It's 5 in the morning. That'd be the usual time it would end. And the last two people in the party were Joni Mitchell and Herbie Hancock. And thankfully that night, I think I played the dinner beforehand. I had all my jazz and rare grooves and stuff that's really not really party music per se. I was playing for them when they played pool. I was just remembering things in my mind. Yeah, this is it. This is great. These parties would have everyone from Joni Mitchell to Herbie Hancock to a person fresh off an Oscar nomination, Terrence Howard. Sharon Stone would be there, Jude Law, Jessica Alba, Ludacris, Chris Rock, Wendy. Just so many amazingly talented people. What's up to Oregon? What's up to Australia? I see you guys up in here. And I will be paying attention to the comments, just trying to read this right now. I appreciate your guys' participation big time on this. Some familiar radio cues are in place during the demo. Rashida plays a leisurely host, brushing past songs with brief anecdotes or reflections, and conducts an interview with the filmmaker Sana Hamri, or Sana, excuse me for that, who at the time had recently directed something new. But the episode is also an immersive stretch of audio art that takes some dreamlike turns, most notably when the comedian Cat Williams appears. Prince thought the show should have a comedic element. I believe it should say more than comic element. And enlisted Williams to come to the house and voice a caller named Ezekiel. Oh man, I couldn't even have banter with Cat, Rashida said, because all I could do was just laugh at him. Now, I've heard this, and let me tell you something about that. Cat Williams does a pretty good impersonation of Prince. So you kind of hear that and him trying to fool Rashida. And maybe Prince will be calling, but then maybe she'll think it's Cat. Don't want to get too much into that and give too much away, but it is absolutely hilarious. The episode features a song by Jay Davey that Rashida played for Prince, and the duo went on to open for him a few years later. While 3121 Radio was never made in full, Rashida remembers the demo as an example of some of the connections made at the time. Prince opened up my world as a music head. He put me on to so many amazing things, she said, and she did the same for him. So that's where we're at. The other part I'm going to get into is an email between me and Sirius Radio in 2013 and other things going on. But it's just craziness that this is going on. I want you guys to hear it because some of the things that I heard, and I don't think you're going to have this. Let's kind of get into it because I don't want you guys to have expectations that are crazy and then it doesn't happen. But just him having his own channel, finally what you guys have been wanting for a long time, and he's been wanting, like, come on, MPG Radio. And he was even talking about this in 2007 about having, before Netflix was a thing, having a streaming service for his videos and for his other projects and calling it MPG TV. So just those things going on. I see a bunch of you in the rooms. We're talking about the Sirius Satellite Radio. I want to hear your opinions on it. I'm happy for it. Of course I want it to be longer than a month. But there's certain things that happen with these deals that don't exactly go the way that you want them to go. And I hear that some of the things after 4/21/16, the things that Sirius was asking for was a little bit too much, and they weren't going to be giving up those kind of rights to do that. WNPG as well, going back to the video for Love Sign, which Ice Cube directed, and him working as a local DJ at WNPG. So we're getting on this. Yes, this Friday, May 1st, it starts. It's supposed to go through May 30th. Someone should tell them that May has 31 dates in it, not 30. But I don't make the rules, guys. We're going to go into it on that for sure. And here's hoping it'll extend until June with maybe a few other bonus things so we can celebrate that month, since we're not going to be in Minneapolis like what was intended. Person's asking if they wish they can play the live shows but doubt they can get the clearance. That would be great. I think it would be up to the estate and other things going on. Just like you guys saw this week with the Michael Jordan special, we're going to delve into that more, that they used Party Man. And of course, clearance was given to that from Warner Pictures and Warner Music. It wasn't just the estate. Now keep in mind, when it comes to the contract of stuff going over to Sony from the vault, Purple Rain stays, Parade stays, Batman has a different contract, and Graffiti Bridge stays longer than the intended deals that wear off, and then Sony gets deals for that. It's a little bit different. But I would love for music club stuff to return that other people haven't experienced it, especially the mix that Prince and Sam Jennings were able to put together after 9/11, because I think we could really use some stuff like that right now and chill us out a little bit during these times. So, yeah. And Questlove, Questlove was spinning his stuff. I think there's also going to be storytelling going on with Jam and Lewis, with Sheila E., and they'll be having their own playlist. Let's not go into anything there being critical. This is about Prince. And here's hoping that they'll have the little tidbits that they had of like Dave Grohl talking about Prince and his role, and maybe they'll play Darling Nikki or the Pop Life version that they recorded for the Grammy tribute that aired last week. And so nice, they had to air it twice, right? So, what's going on? I think that's Peach and Black up in here. Thank you guys. So, yeah, some people are saying that they're going to renew their subscription to Sirius. Unfortunately, I got into an auto accident last December, and I had to get another car in January, and it came from Sirius. It came with Sirius for 3 months. But with how little we've been driving lately, I let it expire. And I think you can get it through the app. Some people can post it in the room. Pay attention to the comments about how to get it for free for the month to listen to it, because I don't want to re-sign up for Sirius right now when we're only driving 3 or 4 times a month because of how strict they're being here in LA. Yes, P on the microphone I'd love to have on that. I don't think that's going to happen again with the discussions. I don't want to get people's hopes up. I know last time when they did Sirius stuff, people were telling me that I was really limited. I have a feeling this time it may be a little bit different. Here's hoping that they didn't go to that. Yeah, they're offering free streaming for the month of May, but not in my car. You have to order it through their thing or maybe through the app, and then you can have it on other devices. And it's not just for the car. Like I said, you can have it on the app. You can probably have it on a thing to throw to your TV and other stuff that you can keep yourself in. Yeah, another person says they even listen to their computer online. So, much love for that one. It just keeps going on, and it'll be on channel number 30. Just to reiterate for people tuning in late, and people get it on their Alexa, and then other people are listening to it on their phone. So you have so many different options of how to listen to it and get your funk on for the month of May when we're going through all this stuff worldwide. And maybe we can help lift our spirits, keep them indoors a little bit. We've been going through a heat wave here in LA, and people exactly have not been paying too much attention to that. I only go out when needed, but we have these rules now. Don't go out at all. Unless you need to go out, then you can go out. I'm sure you guys have heard that ridiculousness of what we're dealing with, right? So, yes, the Sirius channel finally happening. It's ridiculous, albeit it's only for a month, but who knows, if they come to the table with it, maybe we can get more of that funk on our radio, because we sure know that radio needs it, right? Especially during these times, for sure. So, yes, it's just nice to have these things. It's nice that it happens on this day where we have the show planned, and then you guys can be a part of it more, because I want this to feel like, what up, Andy? I want you guys to feel like the old show, to where you're viewing live and you're going back and listening to it, or other people that can't beat it, because your participation is so important. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no me. I am a fan just like you guys, and I was lucky enough to be invited into the Purple World and be able to do things. So your opinion and your stuff to make sure that your comments are read and seen are tremendous. And Purple Current is amazing. Let's not get that wrong. I'm not involved with them. Would love to be involved. Other people have been involved. I never got a message on that, but I love this station. I love that they're doing that stuff. Sirius is just on a broader thing, but we all know about Purple Current, and we do support it. So, didn't see the comment as someone that was kidding. I wish the Facebook comments would be a little bit more on my end to see it instead of just 2 blips. If anyone knows how to change that on an iPad, let me know. And yeah, people are putting in the link for the Sirius article. We had that up a little bit earlier as well. But these are fun times with the Michael Jordan documentary. Fun times in the world of Prince, not fun times of what's going on in the world right now. Let me reiterate that. You know, it's just some craziness, but it's helping us go in through all these things. So, what up, Rodney? We're doing all this stuff, you know, and it's just great to have. It's great to have another outlet for people to experience Prince who may turn into it. Howard Stern is the one who made the announcement today. And he also played into stuff in 2013. And let's go back to 2007, before the Super Bowl. He was able to get The Best of You being recorded by Prince live before the Super Bowl. And they aired it. They aired it of him doing All on the Watchtower and how he changed the lyrics to Prince's Kept a View, then The Best of You, saying that these are songs that he may play at the Super Bowl. We're like, what? That was craziness. So here it is in 2013. I wrote to the camp. Howard just played Screwdriver and loved it. Called it a home run. Said some other things about him, but we don't need to go there. I'm sure it was about him being upset that he always has to tell this story. Maybe he doesn't tell as much anymore about when he went to see Prince live, he would turn off all the lights, making it hard for Howard to see, and he would hate that and tell him to turn on the lights. And of course, Howard's favorite soundtrack isn't Purple Rain, it's actually the Batman soundtrack. And then I was just talking about how Howard's radio audience is in the millions, and the show gets replayed at least six times a day back in 2013, great exposure. And then I put the audio up on my website, but I deleted him of his comments about Prince turning on the lights at his shows. Then the response I got back after the post on my site and about the Howard comments, because I had my show going on just like this, where we'd invite Prince people on at any time to come on, whether Bobby Z wanted to come on, or Andre, or Third Eye Girl to announce a freaking tour on there, which was amazing. So the response I got from Prince was back, P said, get your show on Sirius and he'll go play on it weekly and wear outfits and funny hats. My response at that time was, he does know that Sirius Radio is just radio and it isn't televised, unless he meant to go on our Spreecast and they would be recorded with video and then transferred later to Sirius. Now I hear that there is video clips that can be played through the Sirius app, so that's kind of cool, you know? But we were in talks with 2013. I reached out to Bobby Z, who had a deal working with Sirius at the time. Not exactly a deal per se, but he had more of an in. And I reached out to Martha Quinn, formerly of MTV, and she had a successful radio station at Sirius Radio at that time. And I was in talks with producers for Prince to do it, and of course, the discussions probably seemed kind of like the same in 2005, 2006. So what does Prince do when he's hearing stuff that he doesn't like, and you're the one that's communicating with Sirius? He walks away with you holding the bag. So that's how it went. Craziness. Yeah, and you can Bluetooth it to your car as well. The next batch of alt material. You do have One Night Alone, The Rainbow Children, One Night Alone Live, and It Ain't Over. I know you're talking about other stuff. I hear that there's supposed to be something later this year. It's not at me to discuss. I don't want to be the jerk that ruins it. And I'm hoping that what's going on in this world right now isn't delaying that. And we'll still have it here later this year. But it's going to be pretty amazing. Right, and see, with Peach and Black, they're saying, seems like a bunch of us were all considered at different points to host this channel. See, I thought, and I was never able to go through this with the estate, is I kind of wanted myself, Peach and Black, the Prince podcast, Muse to the Pharaoh. There's some other ones I'm forgetting about right now, and I'm not trying to slide it. I wanted us all kind of like, if they were going to have another MPG Music Club or stuff like that, I wanted us to kind of have our shows on the same channel. And, you know, have it on there, have other people on, but then we're kind of like an official source. I don't think they like that, so they kind of went with Purple Current and who they could choose to say stuff, because apparently me and Peach and Black, we sometimes go off the record on some things that we shouldn't. But we do it all because we care. We're not doing it because we have hidden agendas or other stuff. It's all about the fans, and like I wanted all of us to be able to come together under one roof and have all the fans being on it. There's other people in this room right now that may be able to drop more info on SIRIUS and other projects that Prince has had during a time. I'm not gonna name drop them, but if they're in here and they want to add anything to it that we may not know, it's always greatly appreciated. We're just really happy to finally have the radio station. But yes, with Peach and Black, you know, those are certain things that I thought we could all do. We could all be on the same platform if there was a music club or other things going on, to have our shows on there so it creates content for them, especially because it seems that our shows for a lot of people are well listened to and they like it, and we have different opinions. And this could be like a free version of Music Club, and there could be stuff for downloads and other stuff that is not provided that people would have to pay for. My problem has always been with the Music Club, as much as I think it's a great idea now, we have a generation of people that have never paid for music in their lives. Albeit they're paying for vinyl now, and that's why we're having the vinyl resurgence. But a lot of these things going on, it's just different. Yes, I think a majority of us were MPG Music Club members, or people that weren't now wish that they were. And yes, I was in the club and got to go to the sound check and after party for the One Night Alone in 2002 in Indianapolis. So that's the whole thing, is now we don't have, just like with Paisley Park, he's not walking through the doors. We don't have Prince to be the selling point for the best concerts, for sound checks, for after parties. That's what makes it hard with the music club having a new format, and I was trying to come up with different ideas for it to be successful instead of trying to shoot down ideas for it. Funkatopia as well. How can I forget about them when I'm on their show a lot? Sorry about that, Chris. But yes, all of us together, you know, doing these things. And I would love to do that. But I just feel we're in a different world. We have to understand that a music club right now would be harder. And I keep saying that the money is in the merchandise. I know people hate hearing that, and that's where it's at. And we have business people running stuff other than artists and musicians that would think like Prince, that would be on the same wavelength or know what you guys would want. And I know you guys want to be heard. Do I think the Prince channel on Sirius should and can be permanent? I would love it to be. I think before they were asking for a lot when Prince was here, and then afterwards when he wasn't here. But there would have to be some stuff, and I think the demand is going to be there. I'm sure that you guys are going to be listening. You probably will put it on every single device in your house and then some, and then you're going to be telling your friends about it and posting it and like, oh my god, they played this, or oh, they're going to re-air this. So it's also with you guys. Yes, the music club, I understand that about social distancing and all this other stuff, that Paisley Park can't be open to be different ways of revenue. Now that Paisley Park does fall under the estate and not Graceland Holdings, how it was before. Both Sony and Warner Brothers need to dig out a way to come together at least for the month of the station. It's a little bit more difficult than that. And as you're seeing, at least from my point of view, when you're seeing the super deluxe editions, you're seeing with, at least this time around, you were seeing the 1999 shirts, special, and merchandise. And you even saw that with Planet Earth and 3121. For the Rainbow Children, it doesn't seem like there's so much merch, but maybe with what's going on in the world, kind of messed that up. Yes. And see, the main reason for the music club back then was to get the fans the best seats. And that wasn't originally happening, even with them trying to do it. Ticketmaster was doing it to where the fans weren't getting seats in the first 13 rows when the One Night Alone tour started. Sam Jennings and others that were involved in that, and Prince was aware of it, they stepped up to the plate. And they did a huge thing, because Sam, unfortunately, I made things a little bit more difficult on him than I intended. But you know, it's kind of like there had to be lines outside of the venues, first come, first served to the seats. We made up a thing in LA to have a list to do stuff and check people in. And then the fans in Japan that were visiting LA for that, they loved the format and they adapted it. And it was even adapted for certain things at the celebration, although I think it was a little bit too many people to control at that. But Sam Jennings did an amazing job with the music club, and then for being able to make Prince's fruition of them getting the best seats happen. Of course, that's a little bit more difficult with musicology when you have the $25 membership and other things, and you get fans would be seated at different parts of things as well. Yes. Yeah. You would have to freaking, before the music club, crazy lines and having to deal with scalpers. I remember having to be in lines myself, and then Prince would be trying to make things more difficult for scalpers, but also make it more difficult for us, to where we'd have to stand in line a couple of days before the show, stand in line, and then we'd have to come back the night of the show not knowing where our seats are at, show our ID, then we get the tickets and we have to go straight in. So we had things that had to deal with that. I'm sure there was more involvement on that. I agree with the celebration shows. Now, that may be a little bit more tricky unless there's clearance given from the estate for them to use it, just like with Paisley Park using footage for different shows. But here's hoping that's going to happen. I think it's a great suggestion. And I'm with you on this as a side note. I wish we could all see more live footage from the vault. What would he think about the channel? I think he would want it, just as long as stuff isn't given up for his artistic integrity and the things that he championed about. So that's what it's all about. And xenophobia coming to a monitor near you. Yeah, we know he recorded stuff for that, and he did mess with the sound, the soundboard, but still, that's how Prince intended it and wanted to be listened to. And I would love to hear that stuff, and that was what was great about the music club and the fans, and then the musicology tour, as someone was pointing out about seeing a lot of kids get into the music, and it did open them up into another generation. And now what's happened is after 2016, it's another generation that's being opened up to his music, and we have to be more open to that as well. Excuse me, just taking a little bit of a sip break. We had other people going on. She just hit me up on Instagram, but she doesn't know that I'm live right now, but we're agreeing to do something later on for you guys. I did not talk about that subject, the lemon cake. We don't need to go into that. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with Peach and Black that he was trying to get this up for a decade, and of course he would love it. It was just about having to do it the way that he wanted it. So if it's only for a limited time, there may have been other things that they wanted that Prince would have been down for, that they're asking for too much. And that's exactly what's going on with it all. So there's so much that we can choose from to have on these stations. Like this station, look, Questlove was only going to go 3 or 4 days, and he turned it into 5 days. Questlove could have done 50 days and wouldn't have played everything. So just imagine you're having Montreux to choose from, all the Montreux. You're having his last show in Atlanta, the last show at Paisley Park, his first show ever. Some of this stuff on the Rick James tour. So many things to go through. Sound checks, amazing performances of The Ladder. Songs that we never heard, like from LA Soundcheck, Outside the Doors, hearing him do Cinnamon Girl live. I don't think it worked too much live when I was listening to it Outside the Doors at Staples Center. Maybe that's why they dropped it. But I'm just saying, they have so many things that they can choose from. I'm sure that there's other skits and other things going on. I see you guys are trying to tempt me into talk of cake, and I don't know if you saw, but Jay been on a diet, so Jay don't have cake no more. So we don't even need to talk about that. Okay, all right. Says, yes, Questlove shows were absolutely amazing. I appreciate that he did it. And then there was Dropping Knowledge. There's some even we can get some of the last stuff recorded with Mono Neon. Wouldn't that be great? The Black is the New Black. We could have a little sampling of that, get some Rough Enough up in there. So, do I think you'll hear something you've never heard of before? I'm hopeful. I know on some of the discs that I heard, heard. I do not have, when it came to the 3121 radio show and Cat Williams' impressions of Prince and the character being Ezekiel, there was the original Lotus Flower, which was actually a 5-song demo, and it was all acoustic. So it was different than what you heard in the Lotus Flower that came out in 2009. And I heard those tracks. I had some people talking in the room. I think the tracks that ended up on the album were better, but to hear acoustic stuff, just like think of what he did with Love. Love, when I first heard it in a room full of other people, if they're in this room, they don't need to say if they were in there or not. Love was an acoustic demo. It was an acoustic version, and then by the time it hit 3121, it was a dance song. So that shows you what Prince can do in limited times. Albeit sometimes with the endorphin machine, you can add on the frickin' cowbell and other things it didn't need. But sometimes with something like Love, now we have the demo version that he put out later on in the 3121 website. Then you have the version that ended up on 3120, which was the dance stuff. Now Linka Paris as well, let's give her a shout out to listen to her DJ WD as well in the mix. Linka will be on May 1st, so take a little bit of break from the Sirius Radio to check out some Linka. And no one has to say whether they're or not. But that's what stuff. I know that we're all hopeful that we'll hear stuff that we never heard before. I'm not so certain about that. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I hope for the best, expect the worst. And that's how it has to be is, what would Prince say? Don't you like surprises? And also surrender your expectations. Right now, I think our expectations are pretty limited. I think we're just happy to get a Prince radio station. Yes, we would love to have more. Is it worth buying a state sale attire, or better yet, by purchasing it would help keep Paisley open? Well, since the estate now runs Paisley, I would say yes. I have, when Alan did a chat a few weeks ago on Instagram Live, I did put out there, how can we support for the time being? There's really nothing to be done. I don't think they're going to be doing virtual tours. That's not going to happen, guys. But, they're having sales for Mother's Day. It can't hurt. I'm rocking one of the estate necklaces that I got. This is the gold one. I know people don't usually like the gold, but I had to make sure it matched the watch. So those are those things that are going on. But yeah, support them. So that's it. And people are over the moon about the channel, which is great for it to be. Yeah, it's a Prince's original vision of the channel. It would have been so amazing. Well, hopefully, we can do these things to help keep it going. Yeah, so you can listen to it on your computer, you can listen to it on your devices, your laptop, your iPads, apparently your Alexas. I don't know about that other toy you have by the nightstand. You know what I'm talking about. But it should be very interesting to do these things and have that station up. But I do recommend for the time being, with the Mother's Day sale going on at the estate, sure, buy some stuff if you want to support it until they're telling us how we can do about it. We've been talking about the channel for a while now. What other things would you like to know? And as well, if other people are asking in the room about it, if it's something we covered, you can let them know, bring them in on it, so everyone's all taken care of. So, there's just so much that we can choose from to having a Sirius Prince radio station. Here's hoping it isn't like segments like when MTV would have specials, it'd be 6-hour blocks. It'd be the same thing repeating. Hopefully we'll get more. It may change every few days. To have something be 24 hours. I mean, even 24 hours news isn't really 24 hours news. It's recycled stuff. And sometimes you only need an hour of that crap anyway, to be honest. Yeah, that's been something we've been hearing from overseas fans. Maybe Peach and Black can kind of get in on that. A lot of people have been saying that it's only in the United States that they're able to listen to the Sirius radio. Now, if you can hit them to how people can listen to it in other countries, that would be great. And of course, it does feel like a lot of the fans that he had overseas, particularly in Australia and UK, which is some of our biggest listeners come from the UK and Australia, that they're kind of being left out of stuff, whether it comes to the Grammy tribute or other things. So just be going on that. someone says they just bought some stuff from the estate, that's great. I don't think putting in a code of Funkenberry is going to work for a discount. You can always try. I don't think it will. But, you know, showing them love and showing them doing other things, that would be amazing. Next albums that we're having again, that we touched base a little bit before, at the end of May, it's still slated for release. It hasn't been pushed back yet. Rainbow Children, the One Night Alone live CDs, along with the One Night Alone piano inside the One Night Alone. It's packaged with it. Then It Ain't Over shows, and it's packaged with a box set called Up All Night instead of One Night Alone with Prince. And then they're finally going to have the One Night Alone piano album on vinyl, which is going to be amazing. And then there will be, I believe there's going to be another super deluxe later this year. It's not for me to say what it is, but I think if you guys were very happy with the 1999 set, you'll be very happy with what comes out if the plans don't change for this year. So, yes. So Peach and Black and other people, they're going to be checking outside on May 1st. They can get it outside the U.S. We will put links up for that on Instagram, Twitter. The fan page will update the videos or the sound as well to put it on there. Someone's asking about 2010 Deluxe. And see, that's something, and Peach and Black tonight for you guys, they should put up their 2010 Deluxe special that they did when they actually were able to talk to Prince when they visited the U.S. about some stuff. The 2010 Deluxe, I would love to see 2010 Deluxe, 2010 regular and 2010 Deluxe get a proper release. I do believe it'll happen eventually. Interesting enough, before that release and before he went over to Montreux, he was trying to give that to Warner Brothers along with a different Montreux before he went overseas on something. Morris Hayes made the interview happen. That's why, and also Morris Hayes know a lot more about 2010 as well. But he tried to give it to Warner's before 2014 when they signed the deal for him to get his masters back. He was trying to work with Warner's again in 2010. For 2009, I believe it was, for the 2010 release, and he did reach out to him before he made the deal with the newspapers, and who knows, it could have been with what happened with Columbia Sony, where it was released in the US, but overseas they got the free release. Yeah. Who needs money when you got rich friends? I don't know. Sometimes I think I'd rather have the money and not anyone know about it, because then you'll have more friends that think you got money. But sometimes the friends that you think are rich ain't exactly the best for you. Yeah. But this will be on Sirius Channel 30. Other people that want to see stuff, that listen to the other radio station before when it was around, you'd love to see 2010, Xenophobia, Madhouse, Chocolate Factory, Chocolate Invasion, and all those should be reissued. I'm hoping. When it comes to Madhouse and these other things, because other artists did play on it, it's not just exactly Prince. That's why I don't think we've seen so many associated albums come out officially. Has there been unofficial links put on YouTunes accidentally? Yes. Yeah. See, right now, that's what we're saying. They're going to try again on May 1st for the people trying out overseas that they can't log on now. Hopefully there'll be other ways that you'll be able to listen to it. You know, I'm really surprised that Sirius isn't worldwide. I'm also surprised that CBS didn't make it a worldwide distribution for the Grammy tribute. Those are things I'm not exactly involved in, but here's hoping for it. Now, I hope you guys have been enjoying our live show. I know with Instagram, it'll cut us off the hour mark. I love to do longer shows, but then I can't have, unless we reset Instagram each time, and you guys who are listening back to this later on don't understand what's going on. It's like we want to do longer shows for you guys because we feel that that's what it'll get into more so than what else is going on, you know? Is Girl 6 on vinyl? Yeah, it is. It is. It was released in promo. So you may have to pay a pretty penny for it. Be careful with sales off of Discogs though and other things. Make sure to look at the vinyl, because sometimes they'll say stuff is near mint and it's so not. So not. Give a hint for the deluxe. Yes? That's how I'll be on that. So, yeah, we can do these things going on. Yeah, I can reset every time. I just want to have things going on. Also, I don't want to talk too much to where we don't have a guest on, to where it just kind of gets, we're saying the same rhetoric. We're saying the same other things that people have heard before, you know? Like if you tune into a radio show that's between 7 and 10 a.m. and they keep talking about the exact same things for the same 3 hours, you know? Now just remember that we possibly could be longer for a parade release, possibly, because Warner's has the masters for Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon, which is Parade, Batman, and Graffiti Bridge for longer than the other material. So you will get those in time. So I think a deluxe everything would be great. I mean, the 1999 album, I can't stress enough, and I've said it before, and then people say I'm drinking the purple Kool-Aid for doing it. But if I'm going to be critical of people, when they do things correctly, I have to give them their props. So with Michael Howe, Dwayne Tudall, and the crew, they did an amazing job in the 1999 set, and I enjoyed originals as well. I think more work was put on originals. I am trying to do the show on Twitch as well for you guys. I want to do DJ stuff for you as well. So I'm thinking for these things for it because if I do say music on YouTube, that'll be taken down. I'm not like Questlove, and I hope you guys are following him and subscribing to him on his YouTube channel. So, I don't enjoy 10 versions of the same songs like 1999 Super Deluxe, even though I bought it. I think you're talking about the 7 inches and other stuff that was going on. Fully understand about that. And it's just craziness. But I would love to see everything get a Super Deluxe treatment. And you know, I want to thank people that allowed me to hear the radio show and let you guys know some facts about it, including Rashida, the person that let me hear it, and other things during that time period, Ruth Ozarte. Mad love to her for so many different reasons that goes on. So, of course, I want originals part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. You know, they could have called it like Taking It Back or Underneath the Covers, right? All these other things, but originals is what they went with. That's what it is, and I would love to see more of that. Eternity, Rashid Easton, you guys may dog on that, but his version is gold. So, yeah. Just imagine if me and Questlove like did a freaking podcast and we actually could talk about everything that we know. Like, that'd be scary. Because you know Quest holds back on you guys, and as you see, I have to at times as well, even though I'm not involved. Yeah, I give a few hearts for Ruth right now, purple hearts that are on Instagram and other stuff. Just in case she actually watches this back, I think she's too busy for that. I would only be watching Questlove too. I don't watch myself, so there you go. Yeah, Blessed You Always, another thing that could be on a set. I love originals. Let me tell you, it's just, there's something about vinyl and Bluetooth speakers and other stuff that just, it sounds amazing. Like, I love listening to so many things. Questlove and I talked a few years ago about doing a podcast, but even he said we can't talk about the boots, and I went, of course we can't. So, but I still think that it would be a great show, and he's so knowledgeable on this, and we need to get Quest knowing even more 90s stuff and later stuff. You know, like he used to do when it comes to those things. I like to be the dude of everything from 77 through 2016 through everything else. Do I like Orange Orion? At times, it makes my sugar level rise because it's quite sweet and tardy. I will say my favorite part of that song is when his voice hits that octave and he goes, God only knows where you are tonight. I love that part of it. I love that part of it, you know? And that's what makes me like the song, is just that part of it. So, you know, these things are crazy. There's so many other things we can have. Look at it. I mean, we're never satisfied, are we? We're about to have a SIRIUS radio station May 1st that's going to be playing a special radio thing that a majority of us have never heard before. and playlist from Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Sheila E., and other people in the mix, which is going to be awesome. But now here it is, we're not satisfied with that. We want to know when the next reissue is, when the next Super Deluxe edition is. I think, I don't know, when he was here, the fans seemed never satisfied. It seems now more so that there's just this tremendous demand of his incredible and awesome talent on so many different formats. And yes, we're only getting a taste, a smidge. And I'm hoping that other things like the tributes, this radio station, and so much more have other people find him, and then we still get the enjoyment that we have on having things. So, yeah, an official vinyl release of Hit and Run Phase 2, that may be more down the pipeline than we realize. Of course, there is that bootleg version. I don't think the sound is that great on it, but I deal with it because it's what we have. We had the love for him. Someone was asking, I wish all this love could have been here when he was alive. I had the love for him. I know other people had the love for him. But yes, I know what you mean, is that he was more loved than he realized. And unfortunately, you know, like there's things that took place trying to get a Sirius radio station, or having him get the attention about certain things, because he wasn't getting played on MTV. He wasn't getting played on radio. Now you hear him all the time. You know, it's different reasons for that. But he played by his own rules. So unless he had certain deals. Look, even with the streaming services, he only had Tidal. You know, we had this stuff going on. So he made it harder for him to be put on YouTube, to have streaming services and give him all this love. But we did appreciate him, and as Kurt Loder, and I've said this timeless times before, that Prince will never be appreciated for the true artist he is until he's no longer with us. And it's so sad, and that's so true. And, yes. And someone said this, I personally don't want to chew it all up quickly. I want releases to flow out slow and long, so new fans have to take it in batches. And someone was talking about the Grammy tribute again as well, that, you know, Apollonia wasn't involved, Andre Simone wasn't involved. As we're finding out from the producer, they had to fight for the Revolution to be involved, and that there was tension going on between Sheila and the Revolution. That's coming from the producer itself. It's not me spilling any tea, it's what's out there. So these things play into effect of it. And, you know, the Grammys want names. And of course, the Usher performance was on the Grammy telecast itself. So it's a little bit more difficult because, you know, Andy Allo isn't involved, Liv Warfield isn't involved, Shelby J isn't involved, Third Eye Girl's involved. People that we know, but the general public may not know. But with having those artists on there, and Foo Fighters, I think, stole the show, and they would have stole the show if they would put in Pop Life even more so, that other people will find his music. As we're seeing the sales are up, but of course, we want stuff where 81 isn't through, you know, 81 through 87. A few years ago it would have been just 84, so we're getting it more. As I say, I want to be all about Prince. And everyone has played a part in Prince. From associate artists, to former bands, to former managers, to former proteges, to former people like myself, to former people like Sam Jennings. There's room for us all. Anthony Malzone, Scott Clay, Kathy Adams. All these people played a part in it. And you can't really say this competition of what's going on to where someone feels that they have a more importance level. There might be some truth to it. And the thing is that there's room for us all. And it is all about him. And that's what we need to make it about. You know, I'd love to see Andre involved with more some stuff. So, right. You know, that's it with tributes. They're trying, you know, it's trying to keep the hardcore happy somewhat, but it's also trying to bring in new fans and find a new audience. So these shows are important. I don't believe Susan Rogers is involved in what's going on right now. I may be wrong. Let's wait and see for it, because they did have, if Susan, let me just put it this way, if Susan was there in the time period of stuff that was going on, then she's being involved. See, I see how you guys, what you're trying to do there. I'm not going to do it. That's why I got Peggy McCreary involved with 1999, because she was involved with this stuff. So, even though Prince has said specifically to others that he doesn't want Susan Rogers involved with certain things, if she's involved with that era, she should be involved. When it comes to 88 and on, maybe not so much. But it's not for me to judge on those things and trying to do stuff. Yeah. Yeah. That hurts your purple soul. It hurts everyone to go on to it. But there's so many people, like I said, that were involved in the status of Prince. And yes, it's the same people that are chosen. They're the bigger names. I'm glad that Morris Hayes was involved with the Grammy tribute, so there was a little bit of an element of the MPG, and for him being involved for so long. But again, I don't want to talk about other artists. I'm just so thankful that they're still continuing 4 years later to do tributes about him. I know we're all never going to be satisfied. At least we're tuning in. At least other people are experiencing it and knowing things that are going on. So that's what is important, you know? And we have to keep those things going on. You know, I love to see Susan Rogers more involved, like say with a longer period, say at a Paisley Park Prince celebration, things going on. All right, we're gonna have to wrap up on Instagram Live. I'm gonna turn it off and try to turn it back on while we wrap up a few things here and go for maybe a few minutes longer on Facebook Live and YouTube, just to go in there, just to wrap things up a little bit better than when we are. I will try to go on. I want to thank you guys so much for being here. We're not logging off to the podcast, just other stuff. I'm gonna shut it down and see you guys in a few seconds. And I can pay a little bit more attention to people on the Facebook Live and what's going on. Yes, I would love to have an Andre up there. And then you did have Princess. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Delirious air on the special with them performing with the Revolution backing them up? You know, am I wrong to think that, or other things that are going on? So, and that's just it. Yes, the radio channel, and I'm hoping for stuff outside of America when it comes to Sirius. I'm hoping for this to be accessible in different ways, because I do feel that a lot of his fans in Australia and a lot of his fans in the UK, they're younger than American fans. It's because I think your radio stations are more for the people and by the people, instead of being controlled by one person, one objective. You feel me on that? And I just want there to be love worldwide. So these things going on, yes, apparently Delirious was aired, but I would have loved to have seen Mountains on there as well. Again, it's what the producer thinks will be done, and Maya Rudolph was the host, maybe didn't want to hurt her feelings on it. I'm sure Maya wouldn't have minded too much. Maya's a pretty level-headed person. You know, that's for her to speak on, and hopefully we'll get that one day for it to do. So, these things going on. You know, I'm hoping, like I said, that the Grammy tribute will air over there, and then we'll also have for you guys to be able to get the Sirius radio station on there. Is there anything that we haven't talked about, you know, that either will jilt us for a little bit, or in closing that we should be talking about? I shouldn't be the music director of that, because then the show would be 5 freaking hours. And until we get our own stuff, we're not going to be on network television with that. You know what I mean? Feel me? So, yes, Princess is dope. I especially love it when they have a horn section. Like, I really enjoy seeing them live, and right now we're not going to be seeing anyone live for 2020, are we? You know? We all thought this year was going to be so great doing our little Barbara Walters. I'm Barbara Walters, and this is 2020, and yeah, 2020 has turned out to be worse than 1920, although I wasn't back then. I wasn't alive back then, but here's hoping in 100 years I look like this or even better. But at least with a haircut. You get cleaned up on the sides. I think we're all in that same boat, but I didn't want to wear a hat for you guys. Yeah, Usher's was recorded at the Grammys when it comes to his special, but again, you know, they put it on the re-airing of it. As you're right, they would have had more time to do other stuff. Hit me up that link, and then yes, apparently Joshua Welton and Hannah Welton talked about some stuff on their show. I need to put up a link to it. I need to actually listen to it myself, and I haven't yet. But I hear it's quite amazing, and them talking about their time with Prince. Netflix special with Prince would be great, aside from the docu-series that's supposed to be coming out 100%, although I think we're probably a couple years away from that. I don't want to think of what Prince would have thought of what's going on with COVID. I know they, you know, as he said before, interesting, one of his ironic last tweets, because he was going through it himself, that this world is wonderful except for the influenza. So I think that's what he would think about it. I actually do think, I don't know if Prince would have done an Insta Live for Cherry Leftovers for Left Matter or for other stuff, but Prince was embracing this show back in 2013 and then doing live streams before anyone else was thinking about it. Just like we were doing this show and being able to go live before there was a Facebook Live, before there was an Instagram Live. And as we said before, often duplicated, never, you know, often imitated, never duplicated. That's what I'm going for on it. But Prince was embracing stuff from the live streams until there was a little bit of a fan thing. But as you saw in 2016, he was revisiting that again. And then he was posting stuff on Instagram, maybe not live, but I don't believe they had it too much at the time, but he'd be posting himself live in the studio or other things that were live from Paisley Park. So, you know, I don't know if there's going to be a programming listing. They usually do send out emails on that. With it not being a live station yet, probably not yet, but check for channel 30, and then on Friday if they're going to be having listings for the Sirius Prince radio channel that will be here for the entire month of May. And I think that's quite awesome. So those things are so amazing. And then we'll go in on it. Trying to pay attention to all the platforms asking questions. With YouTube, there's not too many people asking questions that I can see, or maybe it just isn't showing on this. I'll get that fixed. I wish that the Facebook Live, it showed more than just the last three, just so I can communicate more. That's the only reason I'm paying attention more to Instagram Live, is that I'm seeing more of the comments. Create digital music releases before Apple Music, iTunes. He was way ahead of the game. Absolutely. He was thinking that the internet was going to take over stuff in 93, 94. He was already thinking about stuff like that. So I don't know what time on May 1st it starts. I don't know if there's a midnight date, but I'm sure as soon as we know that it's live, we'll be putting it out there. Howard Stern may have more info on his next show. Maybe he only does Monday, Wednesday, Fridays now, but he did say that he was going to be playing that 3121 radio show on Friday morning on his show. So maybe it will launch after that or before. So that's how I feel. There's room for us all involved. That's why, you know, support the Prince Estate, support Paisley Park, support PRN alumni. I hear they have a Candle to Studio A thing. I gotta get me some of that. I wish I knew what it smelled like before I purchased it, but if people that were there were involved in it, should get something pretty cool. Yes. MPG audio shows, I'm all for that. If they were adding the MPG audio shows into Sirius, that'd be amazing, albeit you have live material on that, and could Sony and Warner Brothers see where that falls under, you know, and part of the deal. So the other things going on. Will Minneapolis reopen before June 7th? I don't know. It all depends on the governors and the mayors in the great state of Minnesota. I know in LA we were one of the first ones to lock down, and it's looking like at the end of May we're going to start opening up stuff. But how could something like Paisley succeed in a format like that? That's a tour thing. They'd have to limit the tours. I would hope it would be open. But LA and California itself closed a lot earlier than other states. So other states may be behind us. But maybe with Georgia and Texas opening up early, we get to kind of test out certain things, as terrible as that sounds. Yes. Program director showing Prince love even when it isn't stuff like that. That's always great. Yeah. It's going to be, and again, to reiterate, for those that may have forgotten, and you can always listen back to this show, but May 1st is when the show, the Prince Radio Station on Sirius starts channel number 30, and it's going to run for the entire month of May until May 30th, although there's 31 days in May. But hey, we'll see how that plays out, right? And even if they don't give us the funk for June, I know Purple Current will take care of us. So, yeah. Yes, I support Peach and Black, support Funkatopia, all these other things. Want us to all be able to work together and come together and not have to where it feels a competitive nature. The main reason that I chose Wednesdays to do my shows again is that that's when the Spreecast originally aired, was Wednesday nights. And then I also didn't want to interfere with Dudley D or Linka. So it's like I chose this so there wouldn't be competition. I think Funkatopia has Tuesday nights. It's all this stuff. So it's like, this is the spot that I'm choosing. I'm not trying to interfere with anyone else. I want us all to have love for each other, and that's just how it goes. So it's only for a limited time when it comes to the radio station on Sirius. I do, like I said, I do before believe that they were trying to work out a deal for a longer term, but it's just that they were wanting too much. So this is just an agreement for the month of May. So, yeah. Yeah, a lot of people saying they're from Georgia and they wish they weren't opening as soon as they are. I feel you on that. Like, that's my whole thing is I'm not gonna be listening to Sirius in my car. I'm gonna be listening to it in my place with you guys. So, yeah. You know, but now we're having it a few years later. We have other stuff going on. Yeah, $88 for a candle. Maybe when they have stuff like in Celebration Week or other stuff, that they'll have the candles to be purchased in person, so it won't be so much money for outside the United States. So, you know, got mad love for the Purple family always, whatever things that they do. I do believe, I'm going to wrap this up, I am going to be doing other things on Facebook Live in different formats. We're still going to be having our regularly recorded shows with guests, and we will be having some stuff on. Of course, you guys always want to be on these shows. You know, we'll have to figure out a platform. If we're only doing Facebook Live or something, I'll let you guys know. If you guys are going to be on the show, make sure you have earbuds in so there won't be any feedback when we're talking, to do some stuff. And there's probably going to be virtual parties galore. I know that Linka Paris is already going to be DJing Friday night, but we're all down for that stuff. There's so much more to go into. The PRN, the candle is not by the estate, it's by PRN alumni. So, yeah. Live stream of the show, like it's happening live right now, worldwide for my show, if that's what you guys are asking. But then we do put it on to people who couldn't be here at this time. We do put it on the show. I'm going to be editing it right now and going through it. Have I heard any more about Paisley Park selling memberships as a way to generate revenue? I read in an email from them. I haven't seen that yet. If I had more info on that, that would be great to share with you guys. I know that they're not giving back refunds or anything for tickets right now. It's just in gift cards or stuff like that for tours. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log off to the podcast. I'm going to stay live with you guys for a little bit longer So let me just do that. I'm not signing off for Facebook, not signing off for YouTube, not signing off for Instagram Live. Just doing it for the podcast so I can read more of your questions so there isn't as much of a delay on the show. For those listening to the podcast, thank you guys so much for tuning in, subscribing on iTunes, on Stitcher, Podbay FM. Donate if you want, if you can. It always goes to things to improve the show for you guys and other things that are going on. And much love till next time, guys. Keep it funky. All right. I'm back on Instagram, back on Facebook, staying with you guys just so I can read more of your questions for it. I'm glad that you guys are here. I'm glad we're doing this live. It makes me feel like it's the same show. I'd love to have it on one platform, and then we'll maybe come to an agreement on that. But right now, it's trying to get, that's why I have my podcast be for free. It's because I want you guys to be able to access it. We'll have to deal with stuff later on, charging, maybe in August down the road. My main thing is I want you guys to be able to access it. But sometimes people don't see the value in stuff that's free. Yes. Also subscribe and leave reviews and contribute. I appreciate that as well. Thanks. I've been doing this for a lot longer than 2013. I did do the live shows back then, but with the website, I was always looking for things and ways to adapt. And I felt that was so important. And what's going on now, as you're seeing, other businesses and other people that are able to adapt to what's going on are going to succeed. I know in some situations they can adapt, but it's like people are like saying, when are we going to go back to normal? We may not have what was normal again be normal again. But if you can adapt to situations and adapt to things, you're going to persevere. And that's what we have to do. So, yeah. And of course, I'm glad that you guys learn a lot through these things, through these platforms, through other things. That's what I'm here for. And there should be no judgment that goes on. And I hate these battles that happen. I see it happen on my page, and I don't, sometimes checking my page, the Instagram comments, the Facebook fan page comments, Twitter, that can be like a full-time job. So there's some people that talk garbage or like spam stuff that's, that goes on. Someone's asking about my diabetes. I do not wear an insulin pump. Unfortunately, Nick Jonas got my model. No, I'm playing with that. My diabetes has been more under control, of course, with the exercise and other things that I've done, but I do not wear a pump. I'm no longer even on insulin. So, wow. Eric, who's a tattoo artist and a really cool guy, he's talking about having, when he has to do tattoos, he has to be 6 feet away. I'm gonna how are they gonna do my brows? Because these things are out of control. And hair, and then other things, like how are they gonna be able to do that from 6 feet away, man? Like that's just dangerous. Like you have to have that skill, especially being a tattoo artist, to do stuff like that, to be 6 feet away. 3121 cologne, someone's asking about. I know that they kind of have it on eBay and other things, but I know that there was a store out here in California that carried it. Big Lots used to have 3121, so maybe they have it in their garage or other things going on. What's going on, guys? So, no fights with me, no. Ken, you're about to get banned and do other things for that. Like, do I have to get a tan? We don't need to hear things like that. So, God dang it! But the hair on the sides right now, I'm seeing it more than ever. Wow, I'm pissed. I wish I had like a hat near me now for that comment. There, maybe that'll not make me look as much like him. We'll do the hair. So, out of control. So, yeah, Big Lots. They had it there. I don't know if they have it still, but that's where a lot of people got their stuff. Yeah. I still have the cologne. I was going through print stuff the past few weeks. I had like a gift set I got from one of the house parties that had a candle with it. Then the regular set I got at Macy's on 777. And then some of the small bottles, I think I got 2, maybe 3 outside the Target Center when we were leaving, when they were handing them out. We could have taken more than that, and I know some people that did, and that's on them. Um, um, I do believe someone's asking about the piano and the microphone show, if it'll ever get released. I do believe in time, but those things are like gold right now when they're handing out bronze coins or pennies. You know, we do need more things. Someone said Prince smells amazing. One time at an after, um, before and after show at 3121 Vegas, Prince's perfume, cologne, whatever, was so strong, we smelled it before he walked into the room. It was, Ruth was there, Morris Hayes was there, Otis was there. To the side was Melody Asani and Robinson from the Access Hollywood. I'm forgetting her name right now, and I apologize. Jay Adonde, who was for the LA Times at the time and is now for ESPN. Big Lots did have 3121 cologne. They did. I don't know if they do. I would love to find those pillows that they had. So, yeah, I do believe eventually the stuff that they have when it comes to Paisley Park and the Atlanta shows, they will be released in time. I don't think it's going to be happening this Friday or anytime soon, but eventually, we're closer to it. What Prince smelled like at that after, it smelled very orangey. The fragrance smelled like oranges. It smelled very fruity. So it wasn't 3121 perfume per se that he was wearing. Sean Robinson, yes, thank you guys so much. So yes, we gave mad love to the Prince podcast and Michael Dean. We mentioned everyone earlier, absolutely. You know, everyone does these things that all play a part in stuff. I just want us all to be able to be on each other's shows and do other things and incorporate it. And that's one of the things I was talking about earlier was if there's a different music club for all of our podcasts to be on it and to be shared. So, yeah, citrusy scent. The word 12-inch, I don't know if there was one, I know for 3121, they went for a long time on that group. Michael B can testify to that. So, smell like cookies and happiness. Well, we would have those cookies at the 3121 parties as well. And passing out cookies at Paisley. So, you know, any other questions before we wrap up? I definitely will be doing live shows like this on different formats because I want you guys to feel involved. It's very important to me. See Prince's fragrance collection, Paisley needs to make room. Like, wasn't there stuff that was sold like through the MPG catalog? There was like an Insatiable cologne, Scandalous, all these other things. Like, what happened to those? It wasn't just Get Wild. So, you know, sound like rainbows and cupcakes. Hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever peanut butter is your jelly. All right, you guys. Well, I've had a lot of fun with you guys. I look forward to next week and seeing, you know, what your guys' thoughts are on the radio station after you hear it. The vegan grilled cheese at Paisley, it was an experience. That's not saying if it's good or bad. I think that was one of the only things that I had there the last time I was there. Yeah, there was it. Like, get your MPG catalog from '94 out. There was different fragrances and even like not a humidifier, but something close to that. So, yeah, that's what goes on. But mad love to you guys. I love doing this. I'm gonna try to get some stuff set up. I need another laptop for recording because I wasn't able to do Facebook Live and record my show at the same time. So that's why we're not on Twitch, is I needed one of those cameras to be for Facebook. And I'm gonna need to get something that'll help for programming to do a DJ set for you guys. I would love to get with the estate, probably not to be Paisley Park director, but I would love to be involved with stuff. They know where I'm at. They know I'm here. And that's it. I appreciate you guys. At least I'm being able to be there for you guys, right? And that's what it's about. And I want to thank you guys so much for that, for those opportunities. I gotta do something about this. Yeah. So thank you guys. Much love. I'm going to sign off of Instagram Live first. Actually, we'll do that last. Thank you guys so much. First, I really, really appreciate you guys, and let me know your feedback on these. It means a lot to me. PRN Alumni is where you can get that candle that we discussed earlier. Someone should put up a link to that, and we'll have a link. I did post it on the Facebook fan page earlier, so when you leave this, go back there. It should be up there for you guys. If not, send me a thing on it. All right? Let me log off of